Greetings and welcome to another episode of Super Speak Sundays with your host, James the Orator. This is a place where we take just ordinary people who have gone on to do extraordinary things. And today is your day to hear a story that I think will be impactful to you and for you. We really want to thank you all for continuing to support this initiative. We have really been impacting many people, the phone calls, the text messages, all the communication that I've received. We just want to say thank you to our listeners. Continue to go to our YouTube page to subscribe, share, and comment, because those things are important, particularly when you do subscribe to our channel. You get firsthand information when videos are being released, which are being released every Sunday at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We had a few weeks ago, we had a guest by the name of Sterling Davis who talked about the number of doors he had with real estate. He also discussed a little bit about his property management group. Well, today we're gonna talk with someone who's on the other end of the spectrum, and we're really excited to have this person. He has just been just tremendous in the housing industry. He's traveled the world. He's made the connections, and it's someone who you definitely should know. Let me introduce our guest. Mr. David A. Northern Sr. is the President and Chief Executive Officer of Houston Housing Authority. Northern has proven experience as a proactive leader in federal housing assistance programs, including urban planning and policy development. He previously served as President and CEO of Housing Authority of the Birmingham District, the largest housing authority in Alabama. Wow. Northern was invited to participate in a White House convening on the proposed HUD smoke-free rule in U.S. public housing with HUD Secretary Julian Castro, Surgeon General Vivek Murthy, and other highly notable leaders in 2016. Now, this is the most important part. Born and raised in Gary, Indiana, Northern's educational background includes a Master's of Public Affairs from Indiana University and a Bachelor's of Science in Accounting from Ball State University. A well-rounded industry veteran, Northern is also certified as a rental housing development finance professional from the National Development Council. Most recently, Northern completed graduate coursework at Auburn University to earn a Master's in Real Estate Development. Wow, that's a lot. And you know what is necessary for what this man does? Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Mr. David A. Northern. Mr. Northern.
Yes.
How are you? How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, sir. I appreciate that great introduction. It's good to see you. Gary, Indiana, that's my hometown, and I love it to death. It made me who I am today. I just want to make one correction, though. I didn't finish my course. I didn't finish my coursework at Auburn because the major roles that I've taken on has taken my focus, right? So the people I serve, some of the most vulnerable, is so much more important than finishing the degree. So I've had some education. So I just wanted to correct that.
Okay. All right. No doubt. We know customarily what we do is we start each of our episodes with a quote. And so I'll read the quote, and then we'll just want to get your initial reaction to the quote as we post it.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah.
So the quote says, "Lots of people have gone from public housing to do great things in the world and have a tremendous sense of duty to their fellow man because of it." And that's by someone named Jewel. I don't know who that is, but we want to give him credit. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think that's important. Like one of the things I said before, housing is an amazing career. It's an amazing industry, and we serve some of the community's most vulnerable. And for somebody to lead it, you have to first also understand the people that we serve. It's more than just a job. It's more than just a career. It's a passion.
Right.
It's about caring about people. So anybody can do a job, but you got to have a passion to really care about some of the community's most vulnerable. We're talking about seniors, people with disabilities. We're talking about children, young moms. Right. It's just so much more important than just doing a job.
Right, absolutely. I got to ask you this. I was just recently, I noticed on LinkedIn that you made a quote and it's trending big time. I want to say
Yeah.
it's over 1 million people have reviewed this quote. Talk a little bit about your motivation behind putting it out there, and I'm sure you didn't know that this is going to be the response, but here we are today.
No, well, one thing is important is that I'm a Q, right? So the best, and what I look at as the one of the only fraternities that we
That's
have,
it.
but so we lead from the front.
That's right.
But the quote was more about I'm a CEO, and I've been a CEO a number of times over. So the quote was about I'm not just an African American CEO. I'm a CEO. I happen to be African American, meaning
Sure.
I got a skill set, and God gave me the skill sets, gave me the abilities and the faith to make sure that I can lead and lead from the front. And so the quote was that I am an African American CEO, and then I slashed out African American. And then I made, I quoted one of the Bible verses about, God created man in his own image.
Sure.
And so, I mean, it's 1.6 million views on it. So it
incredible.
caused a
That's
big
incredible.
stir. But what's important about it is that people understand that, it's not about race. It's about skill set.
Exactly.
I'm proud that I'm
Exactly.
African American. I'm proud that I'm a black man. I'm proud I'm from Gary, Indiana. I'm proud I overcame obstacles to be who I am today. And if we can change some minds and get people to understand that maybe on the other side of it, so be it. So I didn't expect that to happen. A lot of it came around the comment the comments around our new judge that they're looking at become is the fact that she's African American, the fact that it's a woman, the fact that she'll be the first is important, but she's skilled and had the abilities to do the job.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know you've had a number of CEO positions. I mean, you started your career in East Chicago, Indiana, and kind of transitioned to, Illinois, and just kind of been moving. How difficult has it been to be a CEO, for such a large, I mean, these are some of the most vulnerable people who we serve in our communities. How difficult has it been to lead in that capacity?
It's been kind of easy for me, right? Growing up in Gary kind of really made me humble in a lot of ways, but also gave me the intentional fortitude to do a good job. The most challenging part is that a lot of people don't appreciate the people that we serve, right?
Sure.
So one, since we're government funded, people look at us as a government. We're not government. We're a business. So I have to make sure that my team members, my staff, understand that our clients that we serve, we have to serve them with a business mindset. Just like McDonald's. If you go into McDonald's and you're dirty, you want to buy a hamburger, you're going to serve a hamburger. So we got to treat people the same way. We don't care if they're persons with disabilities, if they're seniors or whatever. We got to treat them with respect because our clients mean something to us. We're there only to serve them. And so being a housing authority CEO in so many areas, it really taught me and gave me the benefit of understanding that people everywhere need help and they need service.
Absolutely. Take us back to Gary. And I've heard you mention Gary, Indiana, and I'm a product of Gary, Indiana as well. Take us back to Gary, Indiana, and what that was like for you. And I guess the second part of that question is did you dream to be a CEO?
Well, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. Growing up in Gary was a challenge for me, and I'm gonna go back into some of my real story because right now, I use a quote sometimes that everybody likes sausage, but nobody want to see how it's made. Right. Mm-hmm. And so, I overcame a lot to be who I am today. And then growing up in Gariana was a challenge for me. I was born from a young mom who went on to get a degree in accounting also like I have. My dad was, out there and ended up in jail. So my grandmother raised me, quite a bit of the time. They said the Gary School District said I had a learning disability. People told me I'd never make it. I'm going to be just like my dad type stuff. We dealt with the streets in Gary, but I'm here today. I made it, right? I overcame those obstacles with the help of, solid prayer and support system and things like that. So, but Gary taught me who I am today, and I love Gary to death. I even did some work in Gary for HUD, for the house authority back in the day.
Okay. Yeah. There's Gary. People from Gary get such a bad rap sometimes because there's just this negative cloud that hangs over our heads about who we are and who we should be. But I think that, through just, again, the number of people who have gone on to do great things, including yourself, is just a testament of what we've done and what we will continue to do. So now you're in Houston, Texas. Talk about, So I know your hands are full dealing with the population that you serve. Talk about the different buckets, because many people think that when you talk about public housing, you're just talking about the projects only. And so I know that there are many different buckets. Can you kind of tell our listeners about the different buckets that that's offered when you talk about public housing?
So first of all, I'm going to say Houston is an amazing place to be. It's like the third largest city, but the housing authority is like top 6 largest in the nation also. So I'm dealing with 60,000 plus citizens in Houston. I have a number of multi-varied programs and projects that we work with. And the word project is really come from, the development term, right? A lot of people like, that's a generic term, projects. Really, each project is named or has a number to it. But we have so many pots. We have the voucher program, which is the third largest in the nation. We have 18,000 housing choice vouchers, which a lot of people call Section 8. And really, not only will that voucher program allow some of the citizens that we serve to help pay down their rent subsidies, but it's a great opportunity for small business owners, right? It's about making the economy better. Individuals that may own real estate, they lease to our clients. So that's bringing money in the economy. So it's a very, frugal and important aspect of the ecosystem when we talk about small businesses, we talk about housing needs and things like that. And we have the properties that we own, the hard units, the various developments that we have. It's crazy. Just last week, I signed contracts to develop or partner with developers out there to bring more than 5,000 affordable housing units to the city of Houston. Wow. Plans we're talking about 80 and 60% AMI, area medium income. And so that's the working class, right? It's our teachers, it's our people that's at Starbucks and things like that. So a lot of times people look at our clients that we serve as the poorest of the poor, but no, it's everybody need help. Houston, in terms of Houston, the rent increase has been like 14% over the last year. So we got some of the highest rents. Somebody's knocking at my door.
You need to get that?
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm on a business call right now.
All right, it's all right. Hey, this is what we do. This is what we do.
Yeah,
this is what we do on these calls. No problem. So it sounds like your hands are full. So what kind of things keep you up at night as the CEO?
It's a lot to keep me up at night because not only I'm the president and CEO of the Houston Housing Authority, I'm the president of the Public Housing Authority Directors Association in DC. And so we have like 2,000 housing authorities under us, right? And so I want to utilize my platform to make sure that people that look like me, but also don't look like me, get opportunities of success. So I care if it's a flood going on. I care if it's a fire and one of my clients are displaced. And one of the things that I'm really working on here in Houston is to build a solid team, so we can have the right vision, the right strategic plan to move our organization forward, but have that business mindset. Like I said before, most people look at the people that we serve as residents. I look at their residents, they live somewhere, but they're clients. If an attorney that has some of the, if it's a criminal attorney, right, they may have a murderer, somebody that's, in trouble for drugs, and they may not be the best client for them, but they getting paid to do what they do. So I'm trying to teach my team members that the people that we serve are important to us. The only reason we're here is because of them. They're our clients. People treat clients a lot better because they know that's why they're there, right? And so that's why I'm trying to get the business mindset. We need to get out of the way of these the poorest poor. We don't care about them. Everybody's important to us, whether you make $100,000 or you make $2.
Understood. We've seen an increase, not just in Houston, but throughout the United States of homelessness. Talk a little bit about your initiatives with dealing with homeless individuals in the city, because again, I know this is a huge problem. I know here in Indianapolis, we're struggling with some of the same things. What type of initiatives have been put in place to address homelessness in Houston?
Well, Houston's done an amazing job, even before I got here, dealing with the homeless issue with partnerships with stakeholders and partners throughout the community. But we have a long way to go still, especially with the COVID situation that's occurring now. A lot of people become homeless as a result of not being able to pay rent for whatever reason. There's a number of programs. HUD provided some emergency vouchers to help people that was homeless. during the COVID situation. We have VAS vouchers, which is veteran vouchers to help veterans that may have suffered from homelessness or mental illness or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a number of specialized programs that deal with individuals. We have family unification vouchers. To sometimes when parents and their kids get separated for whatever reason in the Department of Family and Children Services, we have special vouchers to bring them back together. So the kids not in foster care and the parents aren't home
Right.
as we bring them back together. And we have a number of more initiatives. One of the things that I'm really excited about Houston Housing Authority is that we're an MTW agency. The acronyms is Move to Work, meaning that we can create specialized programs for the needs of our community. So if we go out and find out that, we have homeless college students, we can create a program to help student housing. That's a program that I created back when I was in Champaign, Illinois, for low-income students to be able to have housing. So it's so much that we can do. A lot of people don't even understand the abilities that we have as housing authorities in order to create change in our various communities.
Wow. This is a really exciting topic for me, because I deal with the same population, not in the housing capacity, but we deal more with people who have been impacted, by the Department of Child Services. And I'm sure you have those populations as well. I want to kind of go back, and I think this is important for our listeners. So you grew up in Gary, Indiana. They said that you may have had a learning disability, and now you become the CEO. What words of wisdom would you give a young person or someone who's looking to get into housing? What things would they need to do at this point to kind of help, establish a foundation?
Well, one of the things is that people can say a lot about you. It's about, God always give us the ability and intestinal fortitude to work hard, and the faith to keep going on. And I utilize that, but also my network of individuals, whether it's mentors, and you can learn from everybody. You learn what to do and what not to do. And so everybody that you meet in life is important to your life. And I utilized all that. And I didn't allow individuals to tell me or pigeonhole me into what they thought I would be. It was a standardized test that I didn't do well at, but I'm here today, right? And so individuals that really want to get in housing, what I would tell them to do is start looking at their local housing authority, attend meetings. The board meetings are open to the public. Go to our websites, our various policies and our programs are on the website. Just start looking into it and figuring out where your niche at. And this is very important right now because we have a brain drain. We have a situation where it's a lot of individuals that's been in housing. I've been in housing over 26 years, and I'm pretty young. I started early. But we have people that have been in housing 50 years that's retiring now. So we need good, solid leaders in our housing industry that really care about people. Sure. And I've always told individuals that if you care about people and you care about the community, I can teach you how to do housing, but I can't teach you how to have a good heart for people.
That's right. It's amazing. You talk about having a good heart. It takes a special type of person to really do this type of work. What is the next, in terms of your career? Because again, I'm just so proud to say that I know you, and I've seen your growth and your development over time. What does the next 5 to 10 years look like for you?
Well, one of the things that's important to me right now is to continually serve. And as I said before, I don't just serve the Houston jurisdiction. I'm a houser overall because I represent housing authorities across the nation. I want to solidify Houston Housing Authority and make it one of the most premier housing authorities throughout the nation, which is great and is ready for that opportunity. I want to make sure that we provide enough affordable housing and create programs for all our, 80, 60, and 30% AMI clients, but create opportunities so that they can overcome the obstacles also of self-sufficiency, become homeowners. But long-term, I want to be in Washington. I want to be Secretary of HUD one day.
All right. And you know what? One thing that I know about you is that, and you've said this today a number of times, you have to be able to speak things into existence and believe that you are supposed to be at the table and not on the menu.
Exactly. That's something that's so important. And one of the things that a lot of times we get complex about is that, politics. You got R, you got Ds, you got different views. I'm the type of person who's like this. We can have 10 things that we all believe in, but 2 of those things may focus on the people that I serve. So I don't care if you're R or D. Let's focus on those 2 things that we believe in so I can serve my people. I can't worry about the other 8 things we don't agree about, but we have to be at the table working together for the people. And that's what's so important for me.
What is I mean, in terms of mentorship, because I heard you mention that you've had a number of mentors along the way. What does it take to establish a relationship as a mentee and mentor?
Sometimes it's like really like a holistic type approach where, you sit down, you talk, and you say, "Hey, I'm your mentor, or I'll be your mentee," or that type of stuff. But like I said before, sometimes it's about watching people, right? I don't have to communicate with a person to see how they move, to see how they dress, to see some of their quotes or things that they promote, or see how their movement is in the business industry. So I had a number of mentors, and I'm menteed. And I'm gonna say something for certain is that I have 3 people that I've mentored and worked with over the years that's CEOs at housing authorities throughout the nation.
Wow.
That
says a lot.
It's about your platform. It's about the extension. And I have people that can be even better. And it was individuals that mentored me or didn't even know I was a mentee of theirs, that I watched them and grew from, learned what to do and what not to do.
Wow. I think that's huge. In some of our previous sessions, we talked about being able to surround yourself around the right people, which is important. Yeah. I want to transition a little bit to talking about housing a bit more. So the people who are on Section 8 and who live in the houses that the district or the authority owns, what type of programs do you have to help people to transition to be homeowners? I heard you mention homeownership programs, because we know that home ownership is one component that helps build generational wealth. So how do we teach people to break the chains of poverty and start building generational wealth through a program such as the Housing Authority?
So one of the things that a lot of people look at the Housing Authority as the be all to housing, right? But we're not. It's a lot of community stakeholders and partners out there. And, one of my jobs as the president and CEO is to build relationships so we can collaborate and provide the wraparound services with the banks, with the local not-for-profits to help our clients. And so that's what we're doing right now, really working with our partners in the community and stakeholders that care or that focus on credit building, right? Or developers that focus on developing housing. And we can focus on helping our clients or providing them with the clients in order to help pay down some of the subsidies so they can become homeowners. And so it's a partnership. We all have to be at the table together working for that benefit. Right. One person, one organization can't do it all.
Absolutely. One of the things I think that many organizations and many cities have been faced right now, and that's challenges with rent control. Can you talk a little about rent control in Houston and some initiatives that you have in place that are going to address that phenomenon?
Well, first of all, Texas is a state that don't have any rent control, so landlords can charge whatever they want. Also, Texas is a state that don't have, you can discriminate, right? A person or a landlord can say, since you have a Section 8 voucher or a housing choice voucher, we don't want you to rent from us. If you're a mom and you're a single mom and you have child support income, you can't rent from us, right? And so a number of states have that, rent is not a protected class or income is not a protected class. And so we have to deal with individuals that may discriminate against some of our clients because of the way they pay their rent. And so we have to work toward that and help educate people. So one of the things that I like to do is become part of the Landlords Association. Like, even though the Houston Housing Authority is one of the biggest landlords, sometimes some of the leaders don't understand it's important to be a part of that, to help educate other landlords to why they should work with us and how we can help and how our clients can benefit from, allowing them to live in some of those various communities.
Wow. Yeah, I think it's definitely important to have those pieces in place because, again, I think there are a lot of misconceptions about public housing and what that means. There's a young person watching this right now, and they, again, aspire to be great. Maybe their home environment right now is not the best. Maybe they didn't grow up, in a good environment. What words of encouragement do you have for them to reach their goals?
Well, I would say push forward. And like, as I said before, always learn what to do and what not to do. And you can learn from everybody. Sometimes you look at that alcoholic that may be sitting on the corner, that's homeless or whatever. He got there some way, right? So you got to figure out, if you don't want to do that, you got to figure out what to do not to be that way. But if you really want to accomplish a lot of things that I did in early on in life, I didn't get paid for. I did it for free. I coached football. I coached track. I sat on this board. I went out and helped in the community. I did a whole lot for free. And I feel like that, the things I did for free really gave me that groundwork, the understanding. It was like testing success, right?
Right.
I could do it right or wrong. I'm not getting paid to do it. It's not my job. But the Lord blessed me because of some of those things I did for free. And I make decent income right now. I feel blessed and fortunate. But what I feel blessed about is that I'm able to change lives. And that's what's so important to me.
Absolutely. What was your greatest aha moment when you talk about housing? I mean, if you think think about the course of your career, what's been the greatest aha moment as it relates to housing?
So, like, I've had some great opportunities in housing, but what told me and showed me that I can be a houser and I can make a great career and help a lot of people in this. In East Chicago, Indiana, I took over a program where HUD grades us, and I was probably 25, 26 maybe. Went to my boss and said, let me lead this program when I wasn't a supervisor. Let me lead the grading system. And, we used to have a consultant do it, and the consultant would come in and just ask us a lot of questions. And I told him, I said, I can ask us questions, right? I said, all you need to do is tell everybody that has to send these reports in for the grading system that if I ask them for it, you ask them for it, right? And so he said, okay. I did that. We became a high performer because I was able not to wait one time a year to ask. I asked it for monthly. And so when people were falling short, I was able to work with them and help them overcome and improve their numbers. So when it was time to submit the final report, our numbers was all high. So we got an accommodation from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. And my boss, John Artis, my first and major mentor, he came to me and he said, we're a high performer in HUD right now. And it's because of you and the work you did. I'm going to take you to Washington with me. They're giving us accommodation. So he took me to Washington, went to the Department of Housing and Urban Development, met Andrew Cuomo and Harold Lucas at the time, Andrew Cuomo at the time was the Secretary of HUD. I still keep that picture in my office. After that happened, I said, you know what? I can do some great things in housing and I can create some great opportunities for the people that we serve.
Wow. Talk about that experience going. That was going to be my next question. You are reading my mind. Asking you when you went to Washington. Talk about that experience. What was that like for a young kid who came from Gary, Indiana?
I mean, it was like, he came to my desk and was like, you got a good suit? I'm like, yeah, I ain't really had no good suit. I called my mother, like, hey, you gotta take me to Men's Warehouse and get some, some gear. But it was amazing seeing the historical values of what goes on in Washington, D.C., seeing those amazing buildings and walking into the Department of Housing and Urban Development as a houser. And it was funny because when we walked in, the security was like, well, what's your housing authority code? He the president and CEO of the house. He looked at me like, I was like, oh, IN 029. I still remember that number. That was our housing authority code. And they said, oh, John Artis, David North. Okay, come on. He looked down and said, hey, I see why I brought you now. But it was amazing. And I mentioned earlier that I'm a Q. You also a Q, right?
Absolutely.
And so the first Secretary of HUD was a Q. Robert Weaver was a Q. I remember writing my essay on Robert Weaver. So one time in my career, I was able to spend some time in the secretary suite on the top floor where, Ben Carson and all the major secretaries are.
Right.
And just like in the White House, they have oil paintings of the past secretaries. So I was able to take a picture with Robert Weaver's painting, who was the first Secretary of HUD. He happened to be African-American also, and he happened to be a member of the best fraternity ever, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated.
Absolutely. There's no other fraternity.
Exactly.
Hey, at the bottom we have. Good. I'm sorry.
So every experience in Washington, D.C. has been memorable, and I just look back on it as importance. And I encourage all the young people around to maybe take that experience and take the opportunity to visit some of the great museums that's there. It's a lot of history.
Absolutely. At the bottom we have your ticker, the Houston Housing Authority. And so when people visit this website, what will they see?
They will see a lot of what we do as an organization. Right now, they'll see probably 60 job openings because we're doing a lot of hiring, as a new person coming in, trying to create a strategic vision and so we can provide the right resources to the clients that we're serving. Sure. You got to build the right team. And, over COVID, we lost a lot of individuals because some people wasn't able to work,
Sure.
in terms of recruitment, it's been hard and challenging. And so we're looking for some good, solid people right now so we can provide our services to the clients that we serve throughout our community.
Absolutely. Hey, you've heard it. They are looking for jobs at the Houston Housing Authority. So
Yes,
if you
that's
live in
right.
Houston, definitely make sure you visit this link here at the bottom on our ticker, because Mr. Northern is definitely looking for some good people. Mr. Northern, final words.
Okay. So what I would say, as a person that had to overcome who I am today, never give up, continue to work hard, and step outside the box. Don't be afraid to make a decision, because if you make a decision and that decision end up not being the right decision, it's an opportunity to learn. Accept that it wasn't right. See why it wasn't right, and then improve your next decision. Just continually work hard and continue to lead from the front.
Wow. Those are some powerful words. Hey, we want to thank you. We want to thank you for joining us today here on Super Speak Sundays. It's as I thought it would be. It's a definitely a pleasure to have you. We even got somebody to knock on the door, so that represents that. Hey,
I know. Right.
Hey, great things happen when we don't expect it, and so we continued on. But we definitely appreciate you. Good. I'm sorry.
Since it's Sunday, can I leave with my best and favorite scripture?
Oh, absolutely.
Hey, 1 Corinthians 15:5. By the grace of God. No, 1 Corinthians 15:10. By the grace of God, I am what I am.
And that's short and sweet. That is what it is.
Exactly.
Until next time, again, thank you again for joining us today. We'll look forward to bringing you back on board. Let you get some time under your feet and get some of those positions filled, and we'll bring you back and see how things are going.
All right. I appreciate this opportunity to share some information about what we do in Houston and also a little bit about myself.
Absolutely. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.
All right, sir.
Woo-wee. Hey, you know what? We just heard from Mr. David Northern. He really gave some good information. I hope you definitely have taken something away. This has been definitely a blessing to have him. Someone who's come from humble beginnings and had the opportunity to reach the pinnacle of his career and visit the White House, where he was able to talk with folks who have been impactful in his life. We definitely want to continue to encourage you all to be your very best. There are things that you want to do. What's stopping you? Nothing can stop you if you make your mind up. I think Mr. Northern hit it well and on the point. Take that chance. If you fail, it's an opportunity to learn. It's never an opportunity to lose. It's always an opportunity to learn. Until next time, folks, this is Super Speak Sundays with your host, James the Orator. We look forward to seeing you next time. Peace.